You talk about getting things done in Cape Town. What are the keys to getting things done in a developing economy?
Well, the keys to getting things done in Cape Town is boosting our connectivity with the rest of our region. Our market in and of itself here in Cape Town and the Western Cape is certainly not that interesting to investors. It's a relatively small market. But if you can credibly come to Cape Town and supply the broader African market from here, then I think that's an incredibly exciting vision for Cape Town. So whatever we can do to boost connectivity through road freight, through air links and through sea freight, the more we can do that, the more we can move closer to that vision of a dynamic hub for the continent.
A lot of different players at stake here. How to bring everybody together for the common good?
That's one of the benefits of having an entity like Wesgro in the system. We are co-funded by the City of Cape Town and the Province of the Western Cape. We sit apart from those governments, and we're able to bring in other players to collaborate in a space. So, for example, on air access, we're working together with the Airports Company South Africa, the City of Cape Town and the provincial governments on a joint team to try and develop more routes into and out of Cape Town International Airport. So Wesgro itself is able to lead some of that complex collaboration that's required across the economic system.
Absolutely. Can you talk a bit about the expansion of the airport, what that means to the city, and the big talking point is the non-stop flight?
Yeah, we really need to see that runway realigned and expanded to be able to accommodate the A380. It's the future of aviation, being able to land those larger planes, and we simply need to be able to accommodate those planes. So I hope that process gets underway soon, and we are able to introduce that additional capacity. On terms of flights, I talk about the region as an economic hub. The truth is we're not well enough connected with direct flights to the rest of the continent. So the addition of the Ethiopia routes yesterday from Addis is a very exciting development. It opens up a direct line into one of the fastest growing markets, one of the largest markets in Africa, and I think there are many opportunities for Western Cape companies to expand into Ethiopia, to trade more in Ethiopia, and hopefully welcome more tourists from Ethiopia.
And Angola is another hot topic. How are we going to make the most of that relationship?
Angola is an interesting one. That's probably the city on the continent that we're best connected to after Joburg. We have a 3 times a week direct flight. The sea freight route is well established, and road freight, the guys are getting containers from Cape Town to Luanda in 10 days. So we have a strong connectivity. The interesting opportunity in Angola now is what do they do to diversify out of oil? They're far too dependent on oil. They've realized that now with the effect on their budget from the collapse in the oil price. So they are very focused on diversifying, and they're particularly focused on sectors like agri-processing and tourism infrastructure. Now, the biggest companies in that space are Western Cape companies, and we have been working with the governments in the City of Cape Town and the province to get some of those companies into the market and saying, see this as an expansion opportunity to increase the size of your operation run out of the Western Cape.
Absolutely, and the buy-in from private enterprise is obviously key to make this whole thing work.
Yeah, we took a mission 2 months ago to Angola, 15 companies including KWV, including Parmalat, some of the real regional champions. And those companies have they're able to move quickly, they're able to spend quickly, and hopefully they see themselves as able to do a dramatic expansion across the continent from Cape Town.
And Transnet just bought 250 new locos, 240 new locos. How's that going to affect things as well to bridge that gap?
Yeah, it's also an idea that's been a long time coming, and I'm glad there's been progress now. The rail infrastructure of the country is an incredibly cost-efficient way to handle distribution, and we've had a rolling stock problem for a long time. So hopefully this procurement and the introduction of this new rolling stock is going to get things going on rail again.
And looking into crystal ball 5-10 years down the line, what's going to be the key driver to take the hub away from Joburg into Cape Town?
Well, I don't think we want to take it away from Joburg. Joburg will always be a hub. We just want to get into that game. I mean, right now, many companies choose to run their African operations out of Dubai or out of Joburg. We want it to be a 3-way choice. We want there to be a credible offer from Cape Town saying, we've got companies that are running African operations from here. They're able to connect to their markets easily through road, sea, and air. And we can leverage some of the lifestyle benefits of our city, some of the quality of infrastructure benefits that we have here, and increasingly get companies saying, I really want to live in Cape Town, and I'm able to run a big global operation from the city.
Absolutely. And Singapore Airline, I mean, obviously we're taking lessons from overseas and applying them in Cape Town.
Yeah, what I like about the Singaporean example is it's about how a city can overcome constraints. I mean, no one had more constraints than Singapore 50 years ago. They had no land, they had very few people, they weren't connected to markets, they were extremely poor economy. 50 years later, they're one of the wealthiest economies in the world, and they took those constraints and turned them into opportunities. So it's an inspiring vision for a city like Cape Town, which has its own share of constraints. If Singapore could overcome theirs, then we can overcome ours.
Absolutely, and we're talking energy, greening the economy is another big thing. George Airport, I hear, is going solar soon. Are there plans as well to integrate that into your business plan?
Yeah, look, the energy needs are driving investment. 75% of our investment that Wesgro brought into the region last year was in renewables and in green energy. So the market's responding to that. I think as we develop a special economic zone in Atlantis focused on green energy, you're going to see that accelerate. And I think we're going to have in the future a very strong renewable sector in Cape Town, possibly the leading city on the continent for renewables.
And you talk about, and Saldanha is the other big growth area with the oil and gas offshore starting to really pick up steam. That's how big can that area become?
That can be a real significant contributor to the regional economy, but it requires a lot of infrastructure to get built, and it requires a much bigger skills pipeline to be developed. So the team working on that is again a collaborative team between the DTI, IDC, Transnet, the provincial government and the municipality of Saldanha. It's a complex collaborative effort, but the times that I've spent with them, everybody has the same ambition, which is to build the best oil service hub in Africa at Saldanha. So I'm confident with that vision and effective collaboration, we can make it a reality.
And finally, tolls has been a big talking point. Is that going to be a reality in Cape Town, or is it something we can do without?
Road tolls.
Yeah.
Look, I think we'll have to see what happens on that front and respond when it happens. I wouldn't want to speculate. I mean, certainly we wouldn't want a situation like we saw in Joburg with the e-tolls. But at the same time, we need to make sure that our infrastructure expands to facilitate the growth we need. So somewhere between those two objectives, you have to find a happy medium, and I hope that the city and the province will be able to find that happy medium together with national government and the roads authorities.
And on another final, but anyway, on your slides I see very low red tape in South Africa compared to other countries, good efficiency, and often in the press we're getting a bad rap on those particular fronts. How can South Africa tell more of actually the story of what's happening?
Well, look, I mean, what I did was compare South Africa to some of the countries we're competing with. And clearly, when you look at the BRICS, we are better on red tape, we are better on business efficiency. But of course, we're not just competing with the BRICS. There are a lot of other countries we're competing with who run much more efficient systems with much less red tape. So there's a lot to do. But what I wanted to get across today is perhaps, it's not as bleak as you might think. And we have a lot to work with here.